Now, as the deep state, the mainstream media, the Dems, as they continually try to push their agenda and get Trump, he's keeping them really busy by tweeting back at them, by making them lash out, by pushing the agenda that we should be investigating all these individuals, which then in turn pushes the mainstream media, pushes the Ds, pushes the deep state to try to go after Trump. Now, while he's doing this, he's working on other things. Remember, his strength is the economy. His strength is to rebuild the economic system. That is his power. Because if you can build an economic system that is absolutely incredible, that can withstand the central bank, the globalist system, you have real power. This is why he's out in India. He's making trade deals. He's bringing manufacturers over to India, making trade deals where we're going to swap goods, just like with the UK and everything else. All of this is very important because remember, the end goal here is not just to drain the swamp, not just to get rid of the corrupt politicians, but to go after the central bank. That is the big kahuna. And we can see that Trump and the Patriots, they're continually dripping out information and putting all the pieces to the puzzle together. Why? Because the perfect storm has arrived. And now it is time. And we're moving towards that period. And very interestingly, what are we seeing? Well, Harvey Weinstein, he was found guilty of rape and sex assault. The jury of 7 men and 5 women took 5 days to find him guilty. But this is not the end for Harvey Weinstein. Ronan Farrow tweeted out the following. New: Los Angeles prosecutors are moving forward with their separate case against Weinstein, which would include a more expansive group of witnesses and lead to greater sentencing exposure. Paul Thompson, the LA Deputy District Attorney, tells me we are definitely proceeding. So this is just the beginning. And it's actually just the beginning for all of these players. Look at Jussie Smollett right now. He's being arraigned on 6-count indictment. Of course, he's saying he's not guilty. But something very interesting happened. Something we didn't realize was happening. Actually, we did with Q, but it really wasn't mentioned in the mainstream media. Because the Jussie Smollett case just got even more bizarre with potential troubling revelations. The internal Chicago police records show detectives employed a top FBI supervisory special agent specializing in investigating the trafficking of sexually exploited children, child prostitution, and aggravated child sexual abuse to help investigate the Smollett assault hoax case. Now, during the early stages of the investigation, records show Chicago police shared intel with the FBI and FBI Special Agency Gregory Wing. And he was working on this investigation with the detectives. So what is one of FBI's premier child sex crimes and child sex trafficking investigators doing working on an assault case? This is just unbelievable. And if we go back to post 3435, remember this from July 2019? And this is Smollett in brackets in bold, federal charges coming. Now, we know that he also sent the note through the post office where there could be federal charges. But with this added on top of that, this is something new. And it says, watch the news. These people are stupid. These people are in trouble. Now, we know that the Dems, they don't really have a person that is going to blow Trump away. They have nothing right now. They don't want Bernie Sanders. They've been trying to get rid of him. They tried the Russia hoax thing, saying Bernie is a Russian agent. Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian agent. Biden's kind of out on the sides here. Bloomberg has his own troubles. And Warren, she lies. She's not someone that they would like. And Buttigieg, they don't really like him. He looks like a little kid. And they're not going to go for him. And I've been saying this for quite a while. And what's very interesting is that Dick Morris believes that Hillary is cooking up a scheme for her to become the Democratic nominee. Now, this is what he says. Here's the deal that I think is going down. I think Hillary and Bloomberg have gotten together and cooked up a scheme. He said Bloomberg would stay in the race, even if he has no chance of winning, in an effort to get at least enough support to keep Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders from running away with the nomination. Nobody will be nominated on the first ballot, and it'll go to a second ballot, he said. The problem is that the party establishment doesn't have a candidate. They can't do Bloomberg because he got killed in the debate. Can't do Joe Biden because he's already lost the front-running status. Pete looks like a high school kid at the Model UN. Elizabeth Warren is third, but she's pretty far to the left, and they're not going to want to trust her. Moore said Sanders, the current frontrunner, would get massacred by Trump in the general election, and predicted that Clinton would have a better shot. And he's saying that she's looking to come in through the back door here. I believe that she's going to come through the back door, but I think it's going to be with Michelle Obama. And I believe they're going to be running together. Michelle Obama to protect Barack Obama because she's running. Clinton, she is running for the president. And she'll say that Trump is attacking her because she's running for president. This is a political attack. And I believe they're going to use this, and they're going to try to use a woman-woman ticket to see if they can beat Trump. I believe this is their plan. I think Dick Morris is on the right track that she's going to use a back door, but I don't think it's going to be with Bloomberg. I think she's going to bring Michelle Obama into this, and I think they're both going to use this, and they're going to sneak onto the ticket. Now, very interestingly, all those individuals that testified against Trump during the House hearing, it seems they are getting book deals. This is coming from Emerald Robinson. She tweeted out the following. It's weird how all the people who testified against Trump in the House impeachment hearings are getting book deals, payoffs. And it's really weird how they all have the same book agent, Javelin. Well, we all know this. Let's go back to post 3383. Down below, it says, and I'm going to read skip a couple lines here. It says, what happens when the kickbacks dry up? M. Waters' $4 million house. Nancy Pelosi net worth $150 million plus. Joe Biden's son brother net worth tens of millions. Clinton $200 million pre-election was less than $1 million. Obama family $40 million before the elections $1 million. Disguised under book deals. Basically, this is how they pay these individuals off for doing their job. They launder money through this book deal. They put it on the New York Times bestsellers list. They make everyone believe that they're receiving millions of dollars, but this is how they get paid off. Now, Trump the other day, he mentioned that Adam Schiff should be investigated. He went off on Adam Schiff, and Adam Schiff decided to respond, and you could tell that he is panicking. He said, nice deflection, Mr. President, but your false claims fool no one. You welcome Russian help in 2016, tried to coerce Ukraine's help in 2019, and won't protect our elections in 2020. Now you fired your intel chief for briefing Congress about it. You've betrayed America again. First of all, Adam Schiff, all of these were debunked. Everything that you tried, everything that you pushed, failed. So everything that you're saying in this tweet is completely fake, phony, and false. Trump tweeted out the following. Somebody please tell incompetent, thanks for my high poll numbers, and corrupt politician Adam Shifty Schiff to stop leaking classified information, or, even worse, made up information to the fake news media. Someday he will be caught, and that will be a very unpleasant experience. Trump wants intelligence leaks on Russia election interference investigated. He wants it looked into. He wants to understand who is leaking this information. And I do believe, of course they already know, but they're going to bring this to light that, yes, it's Schiff and many others. Now, very interestingly, Don Jr. decided to respond to Jake Tapper. And this is what Jake Tapper tweeted out. CNN, U.S. intelligence briefer appears to have overstated assessment of 2020 Russian interference. From at JDiamond1, at Z Cohen, CNN, and me. So let's see. They're telling everyone that they might have overstated what happened. They're walking back the whole Russian interference with Trump and Bernie Sanders. And they're trying to cover for what they reported on because they didn't investigate it. They didn't check any facts. They didn't check anything. They just went with what was given to them because that's what they normally did in the past. But everything has changed. So Shifty Schiff and his individuals, his friends, they decided to leak all this information out. They believed it was true and they reported on it. And they're completely exposed. And Trump, his administration came along and said, we have no evidence of this. The intelligence organizations came out and said, we have no evidence of this. John Jr. responded to all this and said, no biggie. The media just ran with hysteria for 3 years as gospel accusing people of treason. Well, guess what? It turns out the media and the DNC were the ones working for Russia, executing their long-standing goal to create chaos better than Russia could have ever dreamed of. And he's absolutely right. Now, we are seeing more and more information being dripped out. And it seems that within the IG Pfizer report, Case Agent 1 has been named. An FBI agent faulted for some of the most significant problems laid out in the Justice Department's Inspector General report on Pfizer abuse against Trump's campaign has been identified. Stephen A. Soma, a counterintelligence investigator who works out of the Bureau, New York's field office as Case Agent 1 from the Inspector General's IG report. Soma was involved in multiple aspects of Crossfire Hurricane. Now, according to the IG report, he was the FBI agent who initially sought a surveillance warrant against Carter Page. So he was the one who pushed for a Pfizer warrant immediately. And his initial request was rejected. But FBI lawyers later approved seeking a Pfizer warrant on Page after the Bureau received information from who? British spy Christopher Steele. Remember, that whole thing was not corroborated. Soma, he was in charge of verifying the accuracy of information included in the Pfizer applications. He was also the FBI handler for Stefan Halper. Now, once again, he's handling Stefan Halper. He is the professor from Cambridge who met with and secretly recorded Trump campaign aides Carter Page, Sam Clovis, and George Papadopoulos. And we know that Stefan Halper is not just a professor. We know that he is a contractor. They use him quite often. And the IG reports that Soma, he failed to disclose exculpatory information. Of course he did. They withheld information to get what they wanted. Now, Brian Cates, he tweeted out something very interesting. He said, now that it's been confirmed that Case Agent 1 is Stephen Soma, let's revisit my favorite moment from December's OIG report about the Pfizer abuse scandal. It's when Case Agent 1 manages to avoid telling the truth to his superiors twice about Steele being a paid Clinton guy. Fully realize how this farce unfolded. October 7th, Evans asked if Steele, the confidential informant, whose info the Crossfire Hurricane is using in its latest application for a Pfizer warrant on a former Trump campaign advisor, is connected to any campaign himself. Case Agent 1 avoids dealing with this question the first time it's asked for 3 days. October 10th, Soma finally answers the question by ignoring the second half of it. He says Steele is a foreign national, so couldn't donate to any U.S. political campaign. The next day, Evans knows he didn't get a full answer to his question, so it gets asked again. October 11th. Once again, Case Agent 1, Soma avoids answering whether Steele is connected to any campaign in the 2016 election by saying he's a foreign national. He can't donate. Same day. Legalese is used here, but it becomes obvious that Evans and OI folks directly asked the question on the right way this time, and Soma has to cough up the truth at last. So on October 11th, Evans and the OI finally learned Steele is a paid Clinton propagandist. At no previous time during all of this had any member of the CH team volunteered this crucial information about this new CI they were making use of to get the warrant, which everybody knew was about spying on the entire Trump campaign during the election. Now that the Pfizer warrant on Page was not officially submitted until around 2 weeks later, we know the Pfizer court granted it on October 26th. That means for over 2 weeks, the people proffering that warrant to the court knew they were using it from a Clinton fabulist from their spying. Guess what happens just about a week after the Carter Page warrant was granted based on info the FBI used from Steele? The FBI suddenly claims it discovered Steele had been leaking his intelligence to the news media, and they fired him as a CI. They think Spygate is over. And their cool new Russia Gate 2.0 is going to take the national conversation where they want it to go. They're wrong. What's happening here? Russiagate is dead. It was a hoax and everybody sees it now. And Spygate is only going to keep growing. And that scandal does not really take off until Durham releases his findings. And that's exactly right. Russiagate is over. Spygate is on deck. And that has facts, evidence, and everything else behind it. Paul Sperry tweeted out the following. Breaking. Senate Judiciary Chair Lindsey Graham has asked AG Barr to make available FBI Case Agent 1, Stephen Soma, for questioning under oath before his committee in a transcribed interview. Soma was cited in IG report as the agent primarily responsible for FISA errors. So now they're bringing him in. And guess what? It's all being dripped out. Drip, 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 then the flood. This is about educating the people. Lindsey Graham is going to start calling everyone in, letting everyone understand and realize what has been happening. It's about educating the people. It's about going from this IG FISA report and showing now exactly who and what these people have done. So people understand that it just wasn't a mistake. This was planned. So let's go back in time a little bit. 3 years ago, a FISA report confirmed that Obama admin, they were sending FISA obtained information on Americans to non-government entities. And we still don't know whose data was sent to what companies. Now, in April of 2017, a report came out from the FISA court, which received no publicity until nearly a year after it was released to the public. The report covered results of an investigation or audit into FISA searches made by Obama's NSA, FBI, DOJ during Obama's time in office. On April 26, 2017, an unsealed FISA court ruling unveiled a number of criminal activities that Obama's FBI, NSA, DOJ participated in during his time in office. The report was actually completed before the 2016 election. Now, the FISA court ruling showed widespread abuse of the FISA mandate. And according to the report, Obama's FBI, NSA, DOJ performed searches on Americans that were against their Fourth Amendment rights. This went on for years. One paragraph in the report states that 85% of the Section 704, 705B FISA searches made during the time of the audit, a few months into 2015, were not compliant with the applicable laws and therefore criminal. So who brought this to everyone's attention? Remember NSA Director Mike Rogers, who's now working with Durham? Think about what they have on Obama and everyone else. This is in the report. Mike Rogers is working with Durham. Think about what Senator Lindsey Graham is doing right now. They're bringing all of this together so people understand that this just didn't happen with Trump. This was going on a long time ago. And you can see all these different pieces. They're starting all to come together now. And when we move to the next phase, where we have the declass, the investigation, when the storm hits, all of this is very important. Now, very interestingly, the mainstream media, they're out there and they're very concerned about Trump replacing a lot of individuals with this new person where they are making lists and they're cleaning house. But remember, the whole point is to drain the swamp. Trump has been saying this for a very long time. Actually, he's been tweeting this out over and over. Drain the swamp. Justice is coming. Let's go back to post 1123. Here he posed with the military in the Oval Office. Down below, it says a clean house is very important. And that's exactly what is happening. They are cleaning the rest of the house. Spring cleaning. That's what we're seeing right now. Why are they doing this now? Because they're getting prepared for the next step, for the storm to hit. And all these pieces are being put into place. And that brings us to General Flynn. And it seems that Technofog has some questions about Flynn's case, and he tweeted out the following. Did the DOJ leak or arrange the leak of Flynn's calls with the Russian ambassador? or how the Flynn leak advanced DOJ Sally Yates' interests to remove Flynn. Follow along here. Background. The counterintelligence investigation of Flynn's ties to Russia allegedly started on August 16, 2016. Deputy AG Acting AG Sally Yates and DOJ NSD Assistant AG Mary McCord, now with Adam Schiff, were kept informed of the investigation. December 2016, Flynn speaks with Russian Ambassador Kislyak after Obama issues sanctions. The ICFBI investigated that call. It was shared with the Obama White House, intelligence agencies, FBI, and the Department of Justice Yates. Early January 2017, the Department of Justice Yates investigate Flynn for violating the Logan Act. Now that's very interesting because Trump has been pointing out certain individuals, like Senator Murphy, like John Kerry, they all violated the Logan Act, and he keeps repeating this. He's doing this on purpose because look what they did to Flynn where they used the Logan Act. Let me continue here. Sally Yates tells Congress that the Logan Act was the first reason she intervened in the Flynn case. A big conflict now forms between the DOJ and the FBI. McCabe, the FBI wanted to use the Flynn call to secretly investigate further. Yates was pressuring the FBI to take action immediately. During the Department of Justice FBI conflict, the Flynn calls leaked to the Washington Post reporter David Ignatius. Washington Post publishes the leak on January 12, 2017. The leak involved the same law the DOJ Yates was investigating Flynn for, breaking the Logan Act. Here's the important part from McCabe. The Washington Post leak allowed Sally Yates to increase pressure on the FBI to take action on Flynn. Department of Justice pressure caused the FBI to hasten their work and interview Flynn. Are we to believe that's a coincidence? The Department of Justice Yates was not concerned about Flynn's call. They were concerned about having an ongoing counterintelligence investigation of the incoming National Security Advisor. Thus, they had to remove Flynn. The leak set things into motion. Working with Yates was Tashina Guar from the Department of Justice, has protected from being questioned by Congress. Tashina handled the NSD FISA portfolio for Yates. DOJ Yates, Tashina Guar, then pointing to Ignatius. The great Sidney Powell believes ONA Director Colonel James Baker leaked the call, unmasked Flynn. If so, ask if Baker was the DOJ intermediary. And it seems like they're starting to break all this down. And this is why all these players are so worried. Remember Sally Yates just a couple days ago? She lashed out because of Trump appointing Grinnell as the acting DNI and having Kash Patel join him. Why are they worried? Because they're going to find out all this information. It's right there. And they know that this individual, he's not controlled by the deep state. And they know they are in trouble. They're panicking right now. Now, out in the UK, Julian Assange, he is appearing in British court to fight U.S. extradition. Now, remember, optics are very important. It has to look like he's fighting this. But we need to go back 8 months ago because the Home Secretary, Sajid Javid, he already signed a request for Julian Assange to be extradited to the U.S. where he faces charges for computer hacking. This is what he said. It is a decision ultimately for the courts, but there is a very important part of it for the Home Secretary, and I want to see justice done at all times, and we've got a legitimate extradition request, so I've signed it, but the final decision is now with the courts, and that's where Julian Assange is right now. Remember, Julian Assange is the source. He is protected. We'll have to watch how this all plays out, but as you can see, the pieces of the puzzle are starting to all come together. Now, very interestingly, with this coronavirus outbreak, we know there's a very big push with the economy. The central bank, the deep state, the elites, they started it in China because that is the focal point. And if you look, they're very worried about the global economy. Now, if this is a true pandemic and it's spreading like crazy, you wouldn't be worrying about the global economy. You would be worried about everyone getting it and everyone dying, right? I mean, but they're putting out articles like crazy that this is going to affect the global economy. So it seems to me that their push is to bring down the global economy. But what's very interesting about all of this, and Julian's Rum points this out, he said, remember this bizarre video from 12/10/2019? I'd just like to point out that the published date roughly coincides with the coronavirus outbreak in mid-December. Now, this is when Obama came out and he was talking about, hey, you don't have that much time to join up for health care. Now, this was about Obamacare. This is during Christmas. And he showed his top gifts that were under $10. But he has very strange information and pictures that he showed. One was a Zen garden to say, okay, look at China, I'm talking to you. Then it was the Green Goblin holding out $100, and it says, who love construction but hate the Green Goblin? So we know that Trump is into construction, and it looks like he's saying that he is the Green Goblin. We also have a picture of the National Archives and Museum. This is the Presidential Library of Obama, and it shows his dogs. He also has the insurance card. Now, the question is, was this a signal to go ahead with their plan, to push the next event, hoping that this would cause the global economy to completely crash, and the news cycle would continually look at the virus, would look at the global economy, and all eyes would be off of everything. Now, if they started it in China, this was the hub of the central bank globalist system. If you can bring China to a halt, this would affect Europe. If it affects Europe and brings Europe crashing down, that would affect other countries. And we can see from the very beginning, they've been trying to bring down the economy over and over and over again. Remember, the central bank, the globalists, they understand if they can bring down the global economy, it would be horrific for everybody. And Trump would be caught up in chaos. And that's what they do. They cause chaos. But I want to go back to post 734 because I do believe the Patriots have something waiting in the wings. And the coronavirus is very similar to the flu. And back in post 734, this is February 2018, and Anon says sauce and points to a Wall Street Journal article. And it says, experimental drug promises to kill the flu virus in a day. Under this, it says, what a coincidence. This board has more power and influence than anyone comprehends. Now, this experimental drug promises to kill flu virus. Is this waiting in the wings? And are the Patriots ready to use it? But again, they want the deep state, the central bank, the globalists to use their ammunition first, to put it all out there, to push it as hard as they possibly can, and then present it, which then shuts the entire thing down. I do believe that is coming. And I want to leave with Wyatt, who tweeted this out today. Shadow government revealed. New World Order vulnerable. Elite occult trafficking exposed. Banking cartel spotlighted. Hollywood illusion shattered. Media empire crumbling. Mass awakening beginning. We're watching the death of the control matrix in real time.